here's 6-3 part 2, going into example 3, talking about how to figure out what tangent is. And I want to show you what tangent is and why this works real quick. Always say to yourself that tangent is sine over cosine. Why does that work? Well, check this out. If I drew a nice little 3, 4, 5 triangle here with my reference angle theta, you guys know that the sine of this angle is opposite over hypotenuse, right? And cosine of this angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. And we know that tangent is opposite over hypotenuse. But how do I know that tangent is equal to sine over cosine? Well, if I do sine over cosine and put the fractions here, what have I told you guys many times? What is division? Division is multiplying by the reciprocal. So if I take 3/5 and multiply by the reciprocal of that, it's 5 over 4. Look what happens to those 5s, and look what's left over. 3 over 4. Boom. So you know that tangent is sine over cosine. And because I know these numbers are going to cancel out, that's going to make my work easier when I try to figure out knowing the coordinates of the unit circle. Okay, so let's talk about this problem we've got typed out here. Tangent of negative 5 over 6, negative 5 pi over 6. Okay, negative means we're swinging this way, and it's 5 pi over 6, so it's less than 1 full pi rotation. That angle's right there. What's the reference angle? It's going to be a pi over 6, right? So I know my reference angles for pi over 6s are going to be rad 3 over 2 and 1/2. And in this case, because they're in quadrant 3, they're both negative. So there's my coordinates. So it's the reference angle is pi over 6. It's in quadrant 3. Sine is going to be negative 1/2. And cosine is going to be negative rad 3 over 2. So, oof, that was an ugly 2. So the tangent, just look at sine over cosine. Here's where it gets really cool. To find the tangent of this reference angle, if you know these coordinates, you just take the numerators. Sine over cosine. It's 1 over rad 3. So it'd be 1 over rad 3. And because they're both negative, they cancel out. One other thing you got to remember, I can't leave this with a radical in the bottom. So I have to rationalize, multiply by that, and it equals rad 3 over 3. That's how you find tangent stuff. And here's your U tries, as you can see on the page right there. Go ahead and pause and try to figure out the tangent of those two angles. Okay, here's the answers. How did you do? That's the end of that video.